Welcome to Doing Philosophy, where you learn to philosophize about the big ideas. I'm Alan McPhee. Today, we're on the subject of love. This is a very ambitious project, folks, all right? It's easy to talk about reality, free will, determinism, and all these things. This love business is very, very challenging to say the least, all right? Today, we're going to explore this idea, try and differentiate the distinction between feelings and emotions, if there is such a thing, right? So, we're going to use the aid of our little wonderful little PowerPoint that we've created for this particular discussion. Philosophically speaking, what is this thing? And remember, one of the benefits for participating in this particular discussion is that you develop your sense of your emotional intelligence, all right? In a previous video, we looked at the idea of emotion, but we still have a lot more to do. But now I really need to try to draw a distinction between feelings and emotions. Then we're gonna have to go back into the area of emotions to continue. There's a lot more work to do in that area, all right? So, but let's look at the idea, the concept of feelings. What are the feelings? How would you describe them, right? So, I mean, I'm beginning to have doubts about this journey, okay? This word is so misused. We use feelings for almost everything. It's like a go-to words. We have, in general, many of us have very limited vocabulary in terms of emotional words in our vocabulary that we use. And then the word feelings is used as an umbrella term that covers everything. I like this one because I've said it many times. I feel the table. I feel the table. When you think about philosophy, what do you mean I feel the table? It doesn't go with the word feeling the way we normally use it. It really means I touch the table, right? That's what we should be using. And so this misuse of the word feelings and then the emotions, okay, total confusion follows. It's total confusion for all of us, right? So we need some kind of working definition if we're gonna get a head start on making sense of this concept of emotion. So I come up with this working definition based on my observation, my readings, and my own philosophical insight. I would describe a feeling as a subtle vibration that is directly experienced. A subtle vibration that directly experienced. Rather than being very vague and obscure about it, understand that you're experiencing something. And that is the common way a normal, regular person would say it, as opposed to a scientist who's trying to make everything objective as if there are no feelings. They would speak of it in this particular way. This experience is either pleasant or unpleasant. All right, you're experiencing something pleasant or unpleasant. This is a subjective experience. It's pleasant to you or it is unpleasant to you. You're hearing some music playing. The music is either pleasant or unpleasant. It feels a particular way. You hear the sound, you understand the words, the lyrics, but it also feels a certain way to you. It feels pleasant or it feels unpleasant. If you use this broad, well, this is a very precise definition compared to the way the word is used, but if you understand what this means and look at the human experience, all human experience seem to have some sort of feelings around it. Like if you are in a car accident or mishap or near miss on the freeway where you don't quite wreck, but you have to stop and everybody, pause for a second while they catch their breath. Even that scary moment, there it feels very unpleasant. You're going for a job interview, very unpleasant. You're about to ask Joanne for her hand in marriage, feel very pleasant, but you're also nerve-wracked, you might feel nervous as well. So you're about to get your degree, your MD degree. Oh, the joy, and there's a lot of emotions there, but it feels good, okay? So there is a sense in which feelings captures so many aspects of our life. And perhaps maybe the misuse of it at the top is not entirely a misuse, but perhaps It is a misuse, but it's warranted. We could say perhaps it's warranted. So the first thing is that a feeling is a cell vibration that is directly experienced. Now we need to go a little deeper to make more sense of this idea. All right, a little more. We need to go a little more deeper. Um, let's separate feelings from emotions. All right, feelings from emotions. And in doing this, we're going to get a deeper understanding of feelings as well as emotions. I first described that all emotions are types of feelings, but not all feelings are emotions. There is a distinction there. All emotions are types of feelings. That is, they produce cell vibration that we can feel as pleasant or unpleasant. Many ways to do this. There are some emotions that are labeled as positive or good emotions, like the emotions of love, the emotion of joy. There are many such emotions that are considered to be positive and wonderful. The primary emotions, I call them in my analysis here. And they all produce a pleasant feeling, but they're not all the same. That's why you have the different names, because these emotions appear in different parts of our lives and are expressed during particular situation, and they motivate us differently. Interestingly enough, there are these other emotions which are considered to be negative, bad emotions. Let's say bad emotions, right? Hate is a bad emotion. Greed, oh, bad, bad. Don't be greedy, bad. Vanity, vain, arrogance. Oh my God, your arrogance. Oh my gosh, arrogance. So, but if you look at the feelings of these bad emotions, right, it's also pleasant. Hate is pleasant. Greed is pleasant. Being vain is pleasant. Arrogance is pleasant. The recipient of the other end of the emotion may not be well treated. They may feel horrible, but you, the holder of the emotion, it's pleasant to you. All right. So even though these things are labeled bad emotions, they are still, in terms of feelings, they feel good. We must draw that distinction. Hmm? And this is a odd discovery. We go to study the emotion, we're just looking at feelings on the side, but it turns out, no, there's something interesting here. So at least for this part here, we want to walk away with this little bit of idea that let's not just go ahead and put labels of good emotions and bad emotions out there, because these things feel good. Maybe they serve a purpose more than we want to accept. Right? We have to learn more about these emotions. We are going to go back. There are pleasures and pains in life which we do not call emotions. Pleasures and pain that we do not call emotions. They are transient. You're eating your favorite meal and you are enjoying it. It's very, very pleasurable. Smells good, tastes good. Oh, everything about that meal is great. But the meal is going to be over and the pleasure is going to be gone. We don't use the word pleasure and pain in the same way we use the emotions, which is to be standing vibration, which are somehow attached to us. The concept of pleasure and pain is something that seems to affect us more so than it is us. We use that word in the sense that it's somehow temporary. So pleasure produces a certain type of feeling, pain produces a certain type of feeling, but notice the difference now. When it's a pleasurable feeling, we gravitate towards it. When it's a painful feeling, we move away from it. Unlike the emotions of hate and greed, we feel them, we still act on them. The emotions seem to drive us differently. Whereas if we feel pain, we move away from it. Because hate and greed do not feel unpleasant. Pain feels unpleasant. So there is a distinction there. So we want to account for that and make sure we understand that difference. Let's go a little further, just a tiny more, just a small bit, just a little more, please. I hope that as you are listening to me, you're also seeing how everything I'm saying is true for you. And if it is true for you, or some part of it true for you, please write a note down below in the comments box there. Share something with your own insight in these ideas. If you think about these ideas for yourself, you're going to see yourself growing in terms of emotional intelligence. Let us look at right now some of what we call the pleasures of life generally. And in fact, in the comments, write some of the things that gives you pleasure in life. For example, food is a big one on everyone's list, all right? There seem to be two types of pleasures. The first group are those that are externally stimulated. Something in the environment cause that pleasure in you. When you're eating your food, the different type of food, pizza, cookie. Oh, I'm thinking about junk food. Okay. Well, how about cauliflower? No, 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 no. Carrots? No, no. Corn? Okay, I'll accept corn. All right. Different pleasures. Um, Music, probably one of the most intense and most pleasurable things we have today is the music that we play, the music that we listen to, the music that's the background of movies that we watch. The music is just amazing, 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 amazing. Dancing, and it doesn't mean that you're dancing, but watching dance performances is simply amazing. All the various dance moves that these people learn and engage in, especially when there's a dance troupe, they're doing all these different type of moves. It's simply just amazing. And oops, I use the S word, sex. It's an external thing, but it's certainly one of the biggest form of pleasures when we talk about the pleasures of life. And I have to talk about sex eventually, and I'm mentioning it right now because one of the comments I already received in terms of this lecture series here is that what's the difference between love and lust? And that's a little complicated. We're going to get into that later on, but one aspect of that kind of question is this: when you have sex, you can have pleasure. Okay, there's sex that's not pleasurable, but let's just in general, view sex as pleasurable, right? And one of the reason for having sex is because of what? Love. Love is the reason why you're having sex. But we all know by now that people also have sex for the fun of it, just for the pleasure. George and Martha may not love each other, but they like each other and they have sex and they enjoy each other physically in that way. Because sex without love still is pleasurable. That's two different things. And then you can have love, and love is what drives you to have the sex. But if you love and then just sex may not be all that great, you know. So, so it is a separate physical phenomenon. So pleasures of life are intense, and they come close to our usage of the word love. I love food. I love music. I love dancing. I'm not gonna say that one, okay? All right. So you say we use that word, I love these things, and then we confuse the pleasure these things produce and the emotion itself. The emotion, the pleasures are two different things. It's two sets of emotions, basically. There are two different sets of emotions that's going on there. Two different sets of emotion. I believe I have come to the end. There's more to be talked about in terms of pleasures of life, but I want right now to take a break. I want you to please tell me something that gives you pleasure. In another video, I would like to go back into this and go into a little more details because we're going to have to, when we move to look at love as an emotion, we have a whirlwind of feelings in the background. And to make sense of it, to become more wholesome in your understanding and usage of that word, requires us to dive in this particular way. So I hope that you like the presentation and that you are ready to, how would you say it? You are ready to click that subscribe button right now. Well, have you hit the subscribe button? No, you haven't hit the subscribe button. What is taking you so long? Have you hit the like button? No, you haven't hit the like button. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Well, I've gone as far as I could today. You got to take a little break when you do these things. Remember, I'm analyzing love as look at the entire series, and I am hoping that you're participating in this and you're thinking whether or not what I'm sharing with you is true or false. I did not have a lecture already prepared on this topic. I have decided just to do it because it's one application of reasoning and I could take you on the journey. So before I come on here to make another video, I have to sit there and think about it on my own, and then I do some research if there's anything new. And I've been doing research. When I find research that I can actually bring in here, I'm going to do that. Mostly the scientists are not on the same page, but they want the same idea. So I will see you soon. All right, for the next edition. Is it an edition? Anyhow, remember, when somebody asks you who's your favorite philosopher, guess what you tell them? Alan McPhee.